Hello, so I'm going to bring you my slightly late July wrap-up. I haven't had a chance to film up to now, and I've been trying desperately to finish the last book I'm reading. Haven't finished it. I'm going to include it in here though, because I think 500 and something pages in, so yeah, I'm gonna give you a bit of a talk about that. But anyway, on to the books that I did finish. First, I read Harry Potter, The Chamber of Secrets by J.K. Rowling. I don't need to say much about this. I am slowly making my way back through the Harry Potter series. I have to say I didn't remember anything about this book, actually. I can't even remember seeing the film of this one. I can remember the car bit, but yeah, the ending I didn't remember at all, so that was exciting. I quite like it when you're rereading something and you completely can't remember it. Again, it was good fun, nice quick read. They're easy and enjoyable and fun, and I like reading them. Then I read Water for Elephants by Sarah Gruen. I've done a full review of this, which I will link down below, but needless to say, I loved it. It was really beautifully written, nice and different. It's basically about the carnival and the people in the carnival, and there's a bit of romance in there as well. But if you want to know more, check out the review down below. I also read Bridget Jones's Diary, The Edge of Reason by Helen Fielding. I've had this on my shelf for a long time. I read the first one a long time ago. I'd seen the films before, so it was kind of, I'm reluctant to read it because I know what happens. But actually, it's been long enough since I read the film that I still enjoyed this. And it's quite different to the film from what I can remember. There's stuff in there, like there's a point where Bridget goes to interview Colin Firth, which was really funny considering that he plays Mark Darcy in the films. Obviously they couldn't put that in the film, but that was quite funny. It's just a fun summer read, basically. It's funny, and Bridget is really lovable, and it's just a nice, enjoyable thing. Having read this and enjoyed it so much, I literally whizzed through it. I picked up Mad About the Boy by Bridget Jones by Helen Fielding again, which is the new one that came out last year, I think it was now. I picked this up for 50p, hardcover, at a charity shop, so can't complain. But I was a bit disappointed with this one. I don't know whether it's because I went straight from the other one to this one, but it was a bit predictable, much the same. It'll be interesting. I think they are intending to make this into a film, so it'll be interesting to see the film and see everyone that's grown up and stuff like that. It was quite a nice touch. Daniel Cleaver was still in this one, but I felt as though his character hadn't moved forward at all, which was a bit of a put-off for me, because I think like 10 years have passed, so of course his character would have moved on. But I didn't feel like he had. As for Bridget, she's got kids now, and she's still Bridget, but she's grown up a little bit, and it was quite nice to see her with kids and stuff like that. It's basically she's back in the dating world, and she has 2 kids, she's in her 50s, and it's about how she deals with that, which is much the same as how she dealt with it when she was in her 30s. So I felt like this wasn't necessarily necessary. It was much the same as the other ones, but it was still worth a read, and I'm glad I read it. And I'm glad I got around to it straight after the other one, in the sense that I don't think I would have picked it up for a long time if I hadn't read it straight after, because that's what I did with the other one. So yeah, give it a go. I wouldn't say hold up the highest hopes for it, but it's a nice, easy read anyway. Then in between all these books, I was reading Zen in the Art of Fighting by Ray Bradbury. Has to be, I've read a lot of writing books, and this has to be one of my favourites, just for the pure zest of it, and the pure passion that was in there. I really liked that, and he was just, you could tell that he's so excited about writing, and it was really refreshing to see, because I think a lot of writers do sort of write about writing as a business, and he pretty much said if you write that way, it's not even worth doing. You have to write for you and for fun, and if you get published, then great. But it was just a really refreshing take on writing. It's basically articles and essays and things of his time, and yeah, I just really liked this. It really kick-started me into writing, gave me some good ideas, got me really back into short story writing as well, which is nice, and I would definitely recommend this for any budding writers that haven't read it yet. I then read Jodi Picoult's Sing You Home, which again has been sat on my shelf for ages. I do like a Jodi Picoult occasionally, just for a bit of an easy read, but actually I have to say, having read this, maybe because I've read sort of Bridget Jones and Harry Potter this month, so it's been quite an easy read month, the writing in this was actually impressively good, because I normally think Jodie Picoult books are a bit trashy, mumsy stuff, but this was really, really nicely written. It's basically about Zoe, I think her name was, Zoe, who, she's with her husband Max, and they've been trying to have children and going through IVF and everything like that. She can't have babies and she keeps losing the babies, and eventually that leads to the breakup of her marriage with Max. She then meets Vanessa, who is a friend to her in the beginning, and then she starts having feelings, and they end up getting married and moving in together and deciding that they want a child of their own. There is, in the IVF clinic, 3 unfrozen embryos from when her and Max were trying for IVF. So her and Vanessa go along thinking it won't be any problem to unfreeze them and use them. And obviously it's not that simple. Max has to give his consent, and as a religious man, he's not really comfortable with giving his babies to a lesbian family. And a lawsuit ensues, as it does in a Jodie Picoult book. I have to say the ending was a bit of a cop-out, but it was kind of the only ending that could have been satisfying, so it was alright. It was a really good read, and I enjoyed it, and what more can I say? And then the book that I haven't quite finished is The Clash of Kings by George R.R. Martin. Now you can see why I thought I would include it. I've read this much. I've got this much left to go. I'm struggling, to be honest. I really, really enjoyed Game of Thrones, the first one. But this one, because of its size, I mean, Game of Thrones is big, but this is... Do excuse me, I got hair dye on it today. I feel really bad about that. But this is a beast compared even, and it's slower, I'm finding, than the first one. I'm not enjoying the characters as much. Like Tyrion I loved last time, and Jon Snow I loved last time. Both are kind of mediocre in this one. There's a lot to do with Tyrion, actually. I think Tyrion probably has more chapters than any character, but I can't really remember my feelings for him, why I liked him so much in the first book. I think I almost left it too long between books, which I only left it about 3 months, but because there is so many characters in this, I've just forgotten. So I'd say it's worth maybe reading them in concession, or if not, because they are big, just making little notes about characters as you go, just so you can keep track of, like, who's who and who's done what, because it does have a handy little life-saving list of all the families and who's related to who and who, you know, where they come in the line of things at the back, but obviously it doesn't tell you what they've done up to then. And there's names that I'm like, I'm sure I remember him from the first book, but I can't remember why or what he did. So yeah, I think either keep track of the characters just in little notes, or read them in concession, which would be a bit challenging, but I don't know, I think it might be worth doing. I'm still enjoying it, it's really taking me a long time to read. It's not only is it thick, but it's pretty slow going, there's not much that's happened, and yeah, I'm struggling. But anyway, and I will be wrapping this up properly when I finished it, obviously, so yes, I'll let you know. It might change. I'm enjoying it. When I actually sit down and read it, I get into it, but when I put it down, it's very difficult to get the inspiration to pick it back up again, so there we go. So that was everything for July. Let me know what you've been reading in the comments, and see you soon.